Here we go.
All right, we're underway.
Like a missile.
McGregor throws a kick, slips.
And slipped.
Throws and he slips again.
His
It is
legs
now
gone.
on the
I fucking
ground.
told you his legs was gone.
McGregor, Max landing big shots.
Oh my
I
God.
told you the leg
McGregor
was
flat
gone.
on his back.
He
Throws an up kick,
twice.
slipped twice. Wow.
What was that?
Max lands a couple shots.
Gable.
McGregor throws an up kick.
Gable.
What is going on?
That's a bad start.
Max back up to Conor back up to his feet.
He looks very sluggish here,
Yeah.
McGregor, with the left hand.
Well, that is a disastrous start for Conor.
Oh,
Oh, my
whoa.
God.
His leg's gone.
The
His
leg.
leg's gone.
What? What is happening?
His leg's gone.
Oh my gosh.
Guys,
He looked like he was injured on the way out. That was what I was
something
saying.
is wrong.
Max landing.
Just see when he was in that check-in area and he was moving his leg about, I was like, there's something wrong here.
No, this is
McGregor working his way back up.
This is uncomfortable.
Slowly.
Max is like, look at his fucking leg, man.
His leg is gone.
Max doesn't even want to fight him.
Conor looks at, glances, and now it's right.
The
And they
fight
call the
is
fight.
over.
Are you kidding
Man.
me?
The fight is fucking over.
man.
A minute 6 in, McGregor had to have been injured entering the fight.
An absolute
That's
nightmare.
that. That's that.
An absolute disaster.
Ay.
Was it the knee or the leg?
It's his knee.
Something buckled. Oh my
What
God.
the
and he's
fuck
crying.
just happened?
He's crying.
Did he injure himself when he was throwing the kicks? Right off rib?
That's the end of that.
Holy
body's not holding up.
shit. An
That's terrible.
absolute shock.
He can. I don't think he can ever fight again.
Threw the kick
No.
and something happened.
With where he's at with his body.
Slipped. Oh, he can hardly stand. He can't even stand. Holy fuck. It's the right knee. It's not the leg, it's the knee. Very underwhelming. And Max is going to be all class in this moment. He is not going to. It's the knee.
He didn't even want to fight him. He didn't even want to finish the fight.
He's taking off the
Taking
gloves,
the gloves,
by the
yeah.
way. Oh, and then he stopped. We're rewatching the replay, and this is.
No way. No way.
Why? Why did
No
you do
way.
that?
It happened in real
Yes.
time.
Why did you do that?
He injured it on that first
Lads,
kick that he threw.
this is what I've been saying for 5 years is about his body, lads. It's the signs have been there, unfortunately.
But why did he do that? Why did
Because he said
do
he was
that?
going to come out like a missile.
I thought he came in injured. That happened off that first kick.
Why
It's
why
over.
would he come in injured, though? Everybody's saying he has no reason to fight. Why is he fighting if he's injured? His leg, Max is saying.
I mean, Max is just looking at him like, don't make me. He's begging the ref to stop the fight.
I cannot fucking believe what we just.
Listen, everybody who knows anything about the fight business, and it's been a big topic of discussion leading up to this fight. 5 years off in this sport is rough. And like you said, great card, unbelievable. I mean, the Paddy Pimblett thing right before, you just feel it all in the air. Here we go. I mean, I was expecting at least a one-round war. You know, who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff. And well, there you go. I mean, we're assuming blown ACL. I'm no doctor, but that's what I figured when I saw it, and doctors think the same thing too. So when we were talking about the guy over here earlier asking about there being a pre-injury, just on my accounts, the face-off that day is at 80 million views, right? So if there was a pre-existing injury, somebody would have noticed it. He was limping, put his shoes on, he ran right at him. I don't think there was. Anything is possible, but he sure didn't look like it. And for 80 million just on my accounts, you know, that number's got to be massive, and nobody noticed anything. So there you go.
But his right foot is fucked. He's going to have to go orthodox. Worst result ever. I hate this sport. I never want to watch it ever again. Worst result ever. I never want to watch this sport ever again. Conor McGregor throws a jumping kick, completely snaps his foot on the ground. His leg's finished forever, and he never was able to come back. I fucking hate my life!
It took Conor McGregor past 1 o'clock in the morning to say anything at all. No octagon interview, no post-fight press conference, just silence, until a single post on X broke it, and what he wrote painted a far darker picture than anyone watching UFC 329 could have expected. "My head gasket is gone, destroyed," McGregor wrote. "I had no injuries going into the fight. I was throwing kicks, planted and jumping, all throughout camp as well as backstage before the fight. This came out of nowhere. I am beyond dark here. I can only describe it as hell." That statement, posted hours after his UFC return ended in just 69 seconds, is the first real insight into what actually happened inside Conor McGregor's head after his comeback fell apart in front of a sold-out T-Mobile arena. And to understand why those words carry so much weight, you have to go back through exactly how this night unfolded. McGregor made his walk to Biggie Smalls' Hypnotize in front of a crowd that had waited 5 years and a day for this exact moment. He opened the fight with a flying kick, the kind of explosive, high-risk strike that's defined his entire highlight reel, and landed awkwardly on his right knee. He tried to continue, throwing 2 more strikes before his legs gave out from under him. He went down again. Referee Mike Beltran stepped in to wave the fight off at 1:09 of round 1, and Max Holloway was awarded the win by TKO. McGregor left the octagon under his own power, still in his fight shorts and hand wraps, limping straight toward transportation outside the arena. He skipped the octagon interview entirely. He skipped the press conference too. That silence created an immediate vacuum, and speculation rushed in to fill it. The broadcast had already shown replay footage of McGregor stumbling backward during his warm-up kicks, and separate video circulated showing him losing his balance backstage while taking off his shoes before the walkout. Within minutes, fans and analysts were asking the same uncomfortable question. Did McGregor actually enter this fight already hurt? UFC CEO Dana White addressed that question head-on at the post-fight press conference, and his answer set the tone for everything that followed. Listen, everybody who knows anything about the fight business, and it's been a big topic of discussion leading up to this fight, 5 years off in this sport is rough, White told reporters. I was expecting at least a 1-round war. Who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff? Well, there you go. We're assuming blown ACL. I'm no doctor, but that's what I figured when I saw it. And the doctors think the same thing too. White didn't stop at the diagnosis. He was pressed directly on whether the UFC had any indication McGregor was carrying an injury into fight night, and he pushed back firmly on that idea. I have no idea. That I don't know, White said initially, before circling back to expand on it. The doctors checked him out before the fight, and he looked damn good at the press conference, and he looked fine at the weigh-ins. If anybody saw anything that could have possibly made him look weaker or injured leading up to this fight, what did the face-off do? 44 million views in 24 hours? More? Somebody would have saw something. Anybody see something? No? If they did, they didn't say it, which is impossible. Nobody would do that. White even brought up a specific moment from Fight Week as evidence McGregor looked physically fine right up until he stepped in the cage. The day of the press conference, he came running out of the back and ran right up to Holloway and stopped abruptly and squared up with him, White recalled, describing an aggressive, explosive movement that would have been difficult for someone already dealing with knee instability. That's exactly the account McGregor's own statement backs up. He was explicit that he'd been performing high-impact, explosive movements right up until the walkout, kicking, planting, and jumping through camp and backstage, without a hint of trouble. According to both men, whatever went wrong happened in a single instant, on live television, in front of the biggest crowd of McGregor's career, rather than building up over days or weeks beforehand. It's worth walking through exactly how quickly this all unraveled, because the sequence itself explains why so many conflicting theories emerged in real time. McGregor opened by charging directly at Holloway and launching a flying kick almost immediately after the opening horn. The replay showed his knee visibly buckle on the landing. He stayed on his feet initially, threw a couple more strikes trying to fight through whatever had just happened, and then went down to the canvas without being touched. He got back up, attempted to re-engage, went down a second time, and that's when Beltran made the call to step in. The entire sequence, from the opening bell to the stoppage, lasted just over a minute, which is part of why the reaction across the sport has been less about who won and more about trying to understand exactly what anyone actually watched. Not everyone is fully convinced the diagnosis itself is settled, though. While White and UFC medical staff are operating under the assumption of a torn ACL, physician and sports medicine commentator Dr. Brian Sutterer offered a different read, suggesting a meniscus tear might actually be the more likely injury, possibly one aggravated by a pre-existing issue rather than caused entirely fresh in that moment. The distinction matters enormously for what comes next. A confirmed ACL tear typically means a recovery timeline stretching well over a year before a return to competition becomes realistic. A meniscus injury, depending on severity, could mean McGregor is back in training within 6 months, with a potential return to the octagon as early as sometime in 2027. Until McGregor actually gets an MRI, nobody, not White, not Sutterer, not McGregor himself, actually knows which version of this recovery he's facing. There's a specific historical echo here that's impossible to ignore, and it's exactly why so many people online reacted to this moment with a kind of stunned déjà vu. McGregor tore his ACL in his first meeting with Holloway back in 2013, fighting through it to win a decision that's been retold for over a decade as proof of his toughness. 13 years later, in the rematch everyone had waited years for, the same joint gave out again, this time before McGregor had a chance to establish anything at all. Beyond the injury itself, McGregor's statement reveals something that goes deeper than physical damage. "I am beyond dark here. I can only describe it as hell." Those aren't the words of a fighter processing a normal setback. This was supposed to be the validation of a 5-year comeback, a night that generated the highest grossing gate in UFC history according to White, with resale tickets reportedly reaching as high as $88,000. Instead, it ended before McGregor ever really got the chance to show the sport what 5 years of rebuilding had actually produced. That gap between the scale of the moment and how abruptly it ended is likely a huge part of why his statement reads the way it does. White was also asked directly about McGregor's future, including whether this might be the moment the Notorious walks away from the sport for good. He was careful not to speculate. There's a lot of unanswered questions right now that will play out over the next several days, and that's why I don't come into these things and start talking about the future or anything. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, and Monday, and then we'll get back in the office on Tuesday, and it's not even worth talking about right now. I don't know enough. He confirmed he hadn't heard anything from McGregor or his camp suggesting retirement was on the table, but he also didn't rule out that possibility given how brutal this particular setback looked. There's also the matter of what happens with Holloway, who ends this rematch with the record between the two men tied at 1 apiece, without ever really finding out how the full fight would have played out stylistically. Reports since the event have already floated Holloway shifting his focus back toward lightweight, potentially eyeing a fight with current champion Islam Makhachev, rather than waiting on McGregor's uncertain recovery timeline for a trilogy that may or may not ever happen. So where does this actually leave things 24 hours later? McGregor is 37, about to turn 38, with just 1 fight remaining on his current UFC contract, and now 3 straight losses to his name. He's broken his silence, but the substance of what he said mostly deepens the uncertainty rather than resolving it. He insists he entered healthy. Dana White backs that account publicly, while still not fully closing the door on lingering questions. The severity of the actual injury remains unconfirmed until imaging results come back. And somewhere in the middle of all of that sits a fighter who described the aftermath of his long-awaited return in exactly 1 word: hell. What's your read on this? Do you believe McGregor's account that this came out of nowhere, or does the pre-fight footage raise real questions that still need answering? It's worth remembering that this is the 2nd time this exact scenario has played out in McGregor's career. A devastating leg injury derailing a fight before it could really begin, and each time the explanations offered afterward have been remarkably similar. Whether that's simply bad luck striking twice or something worth examining more closely is exactly the debate playing out across the sport right now. Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for continuing coverage as McGregor's diagnosis and his future become clearer in the coming days.